Hello and welcome to the Game Week 12 review episode of Footy Fantasy, where we talk about football and FPL over a cup of tea. I'm your host Shavik, and as usual, I'm joined by my co-host Saurabh. We are recording this pod on a Tuesday night at about 11 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and all these Champions League matches are yet to be played. So we thought we'd timestamp this video before we started for some relevance. Saurabh, a long break for us over the international fixtures, but a welcome return of the Premier League over the weekend. How did you enjoy the matches?
Yeah, this weekend was really fun. I mean, we had some great scores. We had some disappointments from certain teams, but yeah, it was good for us. So yeah, uh,
Yeah, a good weekend of matches for sure. And yes, let's start the review of this game week by first reviewing our own FPL teams. And let's, as usual, as you always do, let's start with your team. Another green arrow for you. Are you happy with that?
yeah, it wasn't much of a green arrow, but I didn't fall far behind. So yeah, this was a week of very high scores, and I had just two or three players out of them. So I, I mean, the score that you see is just 1 point above the safety score, which resulted in just a 2K green arrow. Now, reading the team, I had Flecken in goal with a massive 9 pointer. I mean, the first clean sheet for Brentford, and with two bonus and one save, it was huge.
Yeah, finally some joy for Brentford defense owners, or especially for Flecken owners, because even the defenders like Pinnock and Collins have had attacking returns in the past, but for Flecken owners, this is a massive relief after a long time.
Yeah, so this Flecken Fabianski combo turned out well. It was back-to-back 9 pointers from Fabianski last week and Flecken this week.
Yeah,
Now, going to the defense, which was horrible as always. So I had Hall and Dina, from which from both of them I expected some return. I got 1 points. Colville at 2 points. It was a penalty which shouldn't have been conceded. So now moving on to the midfield. So the only player who returned and my captain was Mo Salah with 13 points, double to 26. And the rest of Mbumo, Rogers, Semenyo, and Palmer with a total of 8 points. So ones and twos. In attack, I had Isak with a very disappointing two, and Nico Jackson, who saved me again with a 12-pointer goal and an assist. So on the bench, I had Fabianski with a clean sheet, which was unexpected, and the defenders Trent and Lewis 0 and Wood 1. So yeah,
yeah,
that,
yeah. But I mean, Mo Salah captain, I think saved the game week for most of the people. Well, although the Isak blank didn't expect that, did you?
no, absolutely not. I mean, St James Park under the lights against a very wobbly West Ham defense. We expected more than 2 goals.
Yeah, and Hall with the one pointer, I think a lot of people expected a clean sheet from Newcastle as well against West Ham, because this was at their home. So generally Newcastle are better at home than they are traveling. But I was quite surprised. We'll discuss this game at the fag end of our pod as well. But yeah, quite surprised by that. Semenyo is now suspended for game week 13. Sure, what plans with him now?
Yeah. I think he was on 4 yellow cards, and this was a game where he performed badly, had the suspension. Now I think he's going out of my team. That's the plan. I have some money in the bank to upgrade him since I downgraded Haaland to Isak,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Great. So we'll discuss those transfers plans probably in the preview pod. Let's move ahead now and we'll very quickly go through this because nothing much to talk about in my team. Although for the audio listeners, I think we did not really uh, read out your score. So you Shourav
Yeah,
scored 61 points for game week 12, and your rank has jumped from 154k to 152k. A green arrow nonetheless, small green arrow, but green is always good. So yeah, moving on to my team, coming back here. Yeah, 39 points for me. Horrible week for me, really. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of left wondering what to do with this team and what is it that is really going wrong. Um, 39 points for me. My rank has slipped from 1.8 million to 2.5 million, and it I need to arrest the slide and need to come start the recovery as soon as I can because a lot of game weeks are coming in, as you know. So I had Raya in goal with a six-pointer, Fabianski on the bench with another six-pointer, so wouldn't have mattered whom I played. I had Konate against Southampton. I really thought some kind of a return, but not a zero. That really hurt. Aitnuri with a two-pointer. Well, with Aitnuri, I know it's either an attacking return or a two-pointer. That is the risk that's always there. Rico Lewis with a zero-pointer, and I this is absolutely Rico Lewis has tested my patience, and I think he's going to go out of my team as soon as I can. As soon as I can spare a transfer, Rico Lewis is going out of my team. I've had enough of that City defense and of Rico Lewis as a player himself, because when you watch the City games, you are not at all impressed with Rico Lewis, either in terms of defense, in terms of his attack. The initial game weeks where he was showing some significant attacking impetus, I think that is all gone. You don't see Rico Lewis as forward or in those kind of attacking positions. City themselves are not creating too much of chances. So Lewis is going out of my team as soon as I can. I bought in Palmer, two-pointer, very unlucky, just like you, with that Madueke block on the line. Really
That,
frustrating that. Yeah.
who did
Uh,
you transfer out for Palmer?
I transferred out, I
Son.
think, Son. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Who returned with an assist.
Yeah, same here. I transferred out Brennan Johnson, who scored a goal in the last minute.
Yeah. But Palmer could have scored. I mean, we'll talk about him when we go to the Chelsea game. But Cole Palmer had the highest XGI and chances created over the weekend for any player, and that just tells you that he was really involved and close to getting a return. But unfortunate that Madueke block. Mbumo with a three-pointer. Again, we'll discuss about him later on, or probably in the preview pod, because the last couple of games, if you've seen him play, he's really wide, and that's not really encouraging to see how wide he's playing. Doesn't look threatening at all. I think this game against Brighton also, he didn't look threatening at all. Salah with a 13-pointer, but unfortunately, I did not captain him. He was my vice captain, but I trusted Haaland, who blanked despite having a lot of chances this game. Strand Larson came with an assist, five-pointer. NDI and Rogers, cheap assets in my team, both blanking with two-pointers. My regret is Mikolenko on the bench with a six-pointer. I was really close to playing him uh, instead of Lewis, but then I just somehow I thought, Everton might concede. So uh, I kept him first on the bench, but yeah, that's a regret from this week. But even if I had played him, it would have been maximum 45 points. So my week would have been poor anyway. So I need to do something about this team, and lots to think about for me before the next game week rolls around.
Yeah, I mean you can easily turn this around. It's just game week 12.
Yeah, yeah. But see, it's the December fixture crunch, so so many games coming up thick and fast. So you really need to turn it around quickly, or else that rank will plummet more. So yeah, we'll discuss that more, I think, in the preview pod when we discuss our teams. Let's move ahead and let's start the review of the matches, the main matches that we want to discuss. Let's start with Leicester versus Chelsea, the first game of the weekend after the international break. Uh, Brilliant performance from Chelsea, I think. If the
Yeah.
the way Chelsea started, I think was really dominant. More so also because the approach Leicester took in the first half didn't look like they were out there to play or to win anything. They just wanted to defend, just probably wanted to get a 0-0 draw, that kind of an approach. Everybody, the entire first half was played in the Leicester half. For the first 35, 40 minutes, Leicester just didn't come out of their half. So very, I was surprised to see Leicester play that way, to be honest. And the fans were also not happy. You can hear boos around the stadium, and as a result, Leicester have sacked the managers as a development that we had last night. So Steve Cooper has been sacked. But that's Leicester. But in terms of Chelsea, I think they had a good performance. I think they can very encouraging performance, especially from Enzo Fernandez. I thought was really brilliant, and also Jackson with the goal. He looks like we have talked about this before. He looks like a different striker. He looks more composed on the ball, and he's finishing those difficult chances where you have to, be physical with the defender and scramble and then get a goal. If you remember last season, he was missing
Yep.
all the easier
Easy
chances.
chances.
Yeah, even the easy passes he would scuffle his shot. But this season he's doing the exact opposite. This is difficult chances where you have to struggle with the defender. He's scoring
It
those chances.
correct. Yeah, this was a scrappy goal, but the way he took control of the ball and then finished it with the outside of his foot, that shows class. I mean, a far more developed striker than he was
Yeah.
last season.
And his
And
confidence is there. You can see in his body language, his confidence is there. So really impressed by that.
and not just that goal. I mean, there was another brilliant cross from him to Madueke. So
Yeah, yeah. It's so great that you brought that up. A brilliant run down the left wing to for a cross to Madueke. Really felt like that run from Pedro Neto where he was on
he
the
was the one tapping it in
tapping
against. Yeah,
Newcastle. Yeah,
Newcastle.
brilliant, brilliant point that one also. Yeah, so that's the point. Jackson is looking like a more finished striker, and you would only expect him to improve this season, maybe even better. If he gets better next season, that's even better. So yeah, that's I think that's that on Chelsea. Madueke, I think I sometimes can't gauge his performance. I'm left wondering whether that was a good performance or a poor performance from Madueke. He can sometimes frustrate you a lot, even his own teammates, the fans, he can do some magic tricks and do some wonders, but at the same time, just what he did in this match, blocking a Cole Palmer open goal tap in, I mean, it was really comical almost.
Yeah, just to put in how much he frustrates. If I was his teammate, I would have tackled him. So he's absolutely this game he was absolutely horrible. So not only the miss from that Jackson cross. We talked about that Palmer goal. It's not like the ball went in and Palmer took a shot and he came in between. I mean that can happen with any player. He went for the ball which was behind him. Who does that?
Yeah, yeah. And he could see Palmer coming in. I mean,
Yeah.
throughout the play,
That's the
he
thing.
knew Palmer was there. Little lack of game awareness, you would say. Immaturity. I think there's a lot of immaturity in Madueke at this point. Um, I just wonder when Maresca would opt to play Sancho and Neto on either wing. So yeah,
Yeah,
way too
even if
much
not
for us.
Sancho, so playing with Felix, I felt like Jackson and Palmer were good because Jackson could interchange with Felix, and Felix is a very good finisher, so he could take up those
Yeah.
striker spots. The only position that is really lacking is the right wing, and you have an incredible right winger. So I think it was more of a rest or that. I mean, it was an easy game for Chelsea. I mean, they knew they would
Pe
win. So I mean,
Pedro Neto
that
was ill. Pedro Neto was ill
yeah is
actually.
yeah, and even I mean, if this game was versus Arsenal, Pedro Neto would have definitely played. But yeah, I think it was a good rest. Yeah,
Yeah. I think I would love to see. Neto with either Sancho or Felix. Felix also can frustrate you at times a lot. If I saw him play in the Conference League the last two games, and although he scored a couple of goals each time, but he can really frustrate you with some poor misses himself. But yeah, Madueke does deserve to be benched now, and I think Sancho and Neto deserve a run in this team. For the game, I think 1-2 is the scoreline that looks closer, but I think Chelsea just dominated the game, controlled the game. Leicester really didn't have any
Yeah.
clear-cut chances or any period of the game where they dominated or pressed Chelsea. Just that penalty that Lavia conceded in the last
And
minute.
yeah, but there were certain uh, points where there were weaknesses in the defense. Particularly, I felt from the Kukurea side because if you see, I think it was uh, McAteer that was playing on the right wing instead of
Yeah,
uh, whoever plays on the right wing instead of Mavidi or Fato. Fato is injured, so
yeah,
it was McAteer playing there, and he kind of exploited that space. They got one or two chances from that right wing. There was a shot very close to goal, or I think there was another save. So
yeah,
that is something that could, and I think it's mostly because of the RBC LCB changes, RCB LCB changes that he pushed Fofana to the right back and then pushed Colwell right, and I think Badiashile is not that of a great defender. So
yeah. See, Chelsea defense is anyways not watertight, and Malo Gusto taking a knock just before the game, and then you have to suddenly bring in, Badiashile and change that defensive line. That doesn't help, especially with Sanchez as your goalkeeper. Every time I
yeah.
watch Chelsea, I mean, I didn't even mention him in this PPT because, how many times would I write the same sentence? So, yeah, but see, we never say Chelsea is watertight. But I think still comparatively this game they controlled better. More so, I would say because of Leicester's lack of attacking threat. But yeah, comfortable game for Chelsea this one. And I think Leicester. Do you expect a new manager bounce from them?
Uh, they can have. I mean, Leicester always seem to exploit uh, opponents that they're quite good at that. They don't attack quite a lot. It's not a structured attack, but they always exploit. Vardy pops in here and there. I think Mavidi is a very good finisher. Fato is a great finisher and a crosser of the
Yeah,
ball. So they do have certain players uh, uh, to score those goals. So if there's a good manager and he can use that system, if Bonanute is back, I think yeah, Leicester
yeah.
can have a
Bonanota is back next game week, and I think Van Nistelrooy is being linked with them, heavily linked with them. So if Van Nistelrooy comes in, you would expect some good things from
absolute. Yeah,
Leicester. Very, very unfortunate for Fatau. He's out for the season. But yeah, they still have some good attacking players. Vardy is a menace for defenders, so
yeah,
he's always a handful. They have Jordan Ayew as well, so you should not forget him. Yeah, that's it. I think on Leicester and Chelsea, not much to talk about here. Very one-sided and very clear-cut game.
yeah. It was an expected result.
Good outing for Chelsea, I think, just before they take on Aston Villa. I think that's a very, very important game next week, in terms of their position on the table.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's move ahead from this and let's come to your team. Sure, take us through your thoughts on Arsenal. I think this was a fairly impressive win from the Gunners.
Yeah, and the first thing that that actually came to mind is that Arsenal is going to attack while looking at the team sheet, because once you drop Havertz and bring uh, Gabriel Jesus in, you know that there is going to be a lot of dribbling and a lot of chaos, and that's what Gabriel Jesus brings. I mean, I always talked about him being a workhorse, dropping deep, taking on 3-4 players, and that's exactly what he was doing. He was absolutely a menace on that left wing, and not and Forest. Forest is a pretty decent defense. They can keep their ranks tight at the back, but uh, I think him interchanging, he was on the right at times, interchanging with Timber. That was very, uh, I mean, very odd to see. But yeah, both Timber and Jesus were aggressive on both the wings. So that is something different that Arteta applied in this game. And now obviously we have talked about Odegaard, how Odegaard being back changes the game, and this was pretty evident from this game. I mean, his passing, his control, the way he transitions defense to attack was incredible. It was like he was never off injured. He had the same chemistry with the team. He has the same dominance on the same fluidity with the ball. Yeah, it was a great game.
Yeah, and we have to mention Bukayo Saka. I mean, he looked so menacing in this entire game. It was so hard to watch not owning him in my FPL team. He looked like
No,
he
we
would
don't
score three,
we
four
don't talk
goals.
about Saka at home. I mean, you see what he did to Robertson. So we don't talk about that.
Oh my,
He's
but he was really impressive. I mean, I just wanted to give a shout out to Bukayo Saka. If you see the game, one goal, one assist, but trust me,
it
he
could
could
have
have
been a
had a
brace
cup.
or a hat trick
Easily,
easily.
easily. Yeah. A couple of shots in the first half. Just even the goal that he scored was such a fantastic finish. He ran through the Nottingham Forest defense, or rather
And
across the defense in their box, and the shot on the opposite corner. Such,
yeah,
I mean, such a powerful shot from there with such low backlift. Uh, really amazing performance from Saka. He was so smooth, so fluid, and yeah, Odegaard coming back, as you rightly mentioned, just changes the entire, flow of the team. Arsenal look like, they didn't go, nothing happened to them. It's just like the last season's Arsenal. You'd not say they didn't perform for the last 5, 6 weeks. I mean, they went back to their amazing best. I mean, Arsenal are back. We can say that with amazing confidence. I think I can say Arsenal are back. Their defense kept a clean sheet again. They're back to normal. They have their talisman back, and I think they've got their confidence back with this win.
yeah. It affects. So Odegaard being back actually affects a lot. You at times you could see Gabriel near the near the penalty box, and that tells you that he has the confidence back that Saliba or Odegaard or one of the fullbacks would cover for him. So that yeah, I think the formation or how Arteta used to play can again be implemented. So yeah, I actually really liked how that Havertz and Gabriel Jesus interchange happened, because Havertz is more of a control player. He could unlock defenses or help in the counter uh, because of his physicality. But yeah, if you when you're playing such a deep block, you need a player like Jesus.
So I would like to ask you on the Havertz benching because that's a real concern for a lot of people who own Havertz. A lot of people, I'm talking in terms of FPL, who are probably looking to bring in Havertz in the near future because of Arsenal's great run of fixtures. How do you see this benching? Was this just tactical for this game, or do you think going ahead, there's a threat from Jesus now? Because we didn't see any threat from Gabriel Jesus to Havertz's positions. He had firmly established himself, but
Yep.
this benching comes as a surprise to everybody.
As a surprise, I didn't expect it, because Havertz is a fitness monster, right? So he doesn't get injured. He plays 90 minutes, international football, club football, everything. So I yeah, it's more of a tactical thing, but um, the thing is a combination of Trossard and Jesus that could threaten Havertz's minutes. It's not like they will only Jesus would take up that striker spot. I don't think Arteta trusts Jesus solely for that striker spot. It's still Havertz out there. But when they need to unlock or when they need more pacey players down that line or for counter attacks, I think we could see early substitutions.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue that Havertz haven't performed poorly either to
No,
for him
Havertz
to
haven't.
get dropped. So,
Absolutely
but
not.
this is something to keep an eye on, definitely. It was so unexpected that now it kind of garners your attention as to what's going on there now and what Arteta is thinking. Because if Havertz is not as nailed as because we thought, Saliba, Gabriel, Raya, Odegaard,
And
Havertz,
Saka
and
and
Saka,
Havertz. Yeah,
yeah, and Rice. So these were the guys who were absolutely nailed. But this benching would really come as a big surprise, especially given did Havertz go to the international break or did he stay back?
he did. He went there.
So that might just be a reason as well, but something to definitely keep an eye on. We'll discuss this more going ahead. I think Chris Wood was benched. I think this was more
That was
due to his,
international.
yeah, because I think in the community, if you were on socials, in the FPL community, it was being discussed that the game was quite late, so the travel for Chris Wood was quite delayed. His return was quite delayed. Elanga has got injured for Forest. That's a blow to their creativity because he was the main creator. If you see the stats, he's been the top creator. Wood, do you
He also
expect him
helps
to?
in a lot
Yeah,
of counter attacks as well.
yeah, he does. He does. That's what I mean. That's how they play. They hit you on the counter and on the crosses with Wood.
Yeah.
So Elanga, I think they will miss. Wood, do you expect him to start again?
Yeah. So one thing about Nuno, Nuno's tactics is that he 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 plays players according to a position. So you have seen that. Uh, I mean, I don't think would have been a good, let's say, uh, striker against Arsenal. You'd need someone pacey like Tayo. So that's why, and more with the international break and giving Wood a rest. So I think it was more of a decent uh, strategy that
I,
Nuno would apply. But
I
against
don't
Ipswich,
I don't think it worked. They had absolutely nothing against Arsenal. They
that
didn't have
that
a shot on target, I think, because Raya
yeah,
had no
they didn't
saves.
have a. In fact, when Wood came on, he looked more threatening than Tayo because he would jump for those headers. It was a short of target, but he did win a header. So yeah,
Nottingham
but
Forest, I think,
but
had
Wood
has
wouldn't be benched. I mean, in the form that he is, and he's more crucial to that team.
yeah. Forest, I think, have now back-to-back losses, so they'll be coming out in full force against Ipswich at home next game.
At
So
home.
that's a
Yeah,
good fixture for them to just turn their fortunes around again. Uh, the last point I've mentioned here is for audio guys. We have mentioned here a Raheem Sterling assist. Sure, impressed enough to buy him from Chelsea now at
uh,
least. That was a superb assist.
absolutely not. So you mentioned Sterling assist, but the one who scored, Nwaneri, I think
Yeah,
he was brilliant. He came on the 82nd minute for uh, Odegaard and Saka, and he I think literally replaced Saka in that team. It was like a Saka playing in a different jersey.
no,
He
no.
had
You need Raheem Sterling to replace Saka. He's already given you an assist. He might just be a threat to his minutes as well. Yeah, yeah. But now, yeah, now you're. I think the next young gunner that's coming out of your ranks. So very good player, very
Yep.
pleasing on the eye, and good control as well.
And he's so composed in even in those under 19 games and even during Leicester in one of the I mean he made a appearance. He was good. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think
great. I don't. I think we've covered this game well and truly. I think if you are watching this on YouTube or any of the video podcasts, you can see the XG for Forest was 0.33, so really nothing from them. Arsenal 1.19 XG, but don't be fooled by that. That is because a lot of the shots were taken from outside the box. I think Partey's shot was also from outside the box, which was a fantastic goal.
that's the
So
second time this season he has done that.
yes, so XG data doesn't matter so much in such an impressive performance. I think that's why you need to watch the games as well. Let's move on from Arsenal. Let's go to the league leaders and really, absolutely. I mentioned it here. Absolutely ruthless. I mean, this ranks with one of the best starts that teams have had in the Premier League.
Yep.
10 wins out of 12 games, 8-point lead over Man City and any other rivals, 9-point over Arsenal. Really, how impressed. I mean, we have been talking about. Liverpool since the start of the season. I remember our very first pod, we were talking about Liverpool and you were hyping them up, and I said, new league, new manager, let's see how long they can continue this. But I think Slot has now proved beyond doubt that, he's doing a really good job. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, his tactics are working. Just that uh, it has some, it has quite a lot of luck involved in the last few games. I would say that.
Yeah, that's true. And I think all those luck is falling to Mo Salah because he just keeps getting those late chances. All the defensive mistakes ultimately fall to Mo Salah, which he puts away and gets those late goals and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah, you were
and
saying something.
yeah, so McCarthy didn't have anything. I, I don't know what he was doing. He didn't have any plan. He didn't have any reason to be out there. It was absolutely, I mean,
The
mammoth
only
error
reason
from.
is Ramsdale's injury. Ramsdale was injured, so McCarthy had to be out there. They didn't have any other goalkeeper.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I think. Yeah, mostly. So it was his first mistake that led to that goal, and the second one was the penalty was extremely lucky. It was a very bad bounce. That I mean, the first part he controlled it, and the second bounce was was the one that actually was created for the handball. So
Yeah. And as I said, all the luck falls to Mo Salah. Although at this point, only luck is falling to Mo Salah. He's come out again and he's talked about his contract. We are digressing a little bit from football, but it's a very interesting topic because after December, I think he'll be a free agent and free to sign with anybody.
yeah,
So, are you
but he
surprised by
would.
Liverpool's approach?
No, I think they are in talks. So there has so the news that we hear is the formal uh, proposal or formal agreement, if something is proposed, but there are definitely talks going on, and it's more about, let's say, the money that's being offered or the length of the contract, because Salah is not getting any younger and he would like to stay in Liverpool at least for 2 or more years with an option to extend. I think that's what we think that he's trying to get from Liverpool, and it's merely a negotiation. And I think no team in the world would let go of a player like Salah for free.
Yeah, you say Salah is not getting any younger, but if when he took his shirt off, if you saw him, he's really fit, and he really is fit, not just his body. He does all the work that is being asked from him, and he looks fit, he looks lean. Um, and if that is a reason to not give him a multi-year contract, I think that should not be a reason for a player like Salah to
Absolutely.
get a 2-year contract or a 3-year contract at Liverpool. I don't think that is an issue. I think he also mentioned that he has not had a formal offer yet, which I actually find surprising. If they had at least tabled an offer, um, maybe he wouldn't come out in the open and say I'm more out than I'm in, which is a big thing to
I
say.
think that's just putting pressure on the Liverpool
Yeah,
board. That's
that definitely is that taking off his shirt and then coming out and
yeah.
saying all these things. It's obviously part of a bigger plan. But Arne Slot in his pre-Champions League interview today did clarify that for me, Mo Salah is more in than out in my lineup. So that clarifies any doubts if you have regarding any backlash over that comment, which will never come to Mo Salah, but still. Let's go.
I think Salah would never, and even if he doesn't get the contract, I don't think his performance drops, because it's not that he's not that sort of a player.
I agree. His work ethic is really good. Let's come back to the game. I have to say, I was really impressed with Southampton as well. We have to give them their due credit and shout out to them. Liverpool did look a little bit rusty after the international break, just like how they looked in game week 4 after the international break when they lost to Nottingham Forest. But Southampton were really good. I mean, I did not expect them to play so well, and that is the problem with them. In parts, they do show what Russell Martin's ideology is, what he's trying to implement. They're able to pull off that free flowing football from the back, but they're not able to sustain it for those 90 minutes. They don't have that quality of probably players to sustain that in the Premier League for an entire 90 minutes against good oppositions. But I was really impressed with how Southampton played, and they went into a shock 2-1 lead, and that it was game on from there on. What did
Yeah,
you
and
make of Southampton's performance?
it was a deserved lead. In fact, Liverpool's defending has been horrible. Uh, not putting anything on Van Dijk or Konate, it's mostly because of the wing backs. So Robertson, I'm not sure what happened to Robertson. He was in fact the better defender out of the two wing backs. Trent didn't used to uh, fall back or didn't have
Defend,
any defensive skills. Rather, he had improved this season.
yes.
And Robertson is making mistake after mistake. So yeah, I think the penalty that he gave away was a very naive thing to do.
But it was
Eh,
actually Van Dijk's mistake. I think he backheeled,
yeah.
and that
It,
forced him for the penalty.
yeah. So that's what. So Liverpool's clean sheets have been quite lucky. Uh, they're not that tight at the back, and it's just injury away from falling apart.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
But thankfully for them, I think Trent is coming back. I think I before we started this pod, as I said, I just listened to Slot's pre-Champions League interview. So Trent is in the squad, but he's
Yeah,
not fit to start. So if not, but I think he'll start against City. That's a big game for Liverpool. If they can win that and get an 11-point lead, uh, which won't be 11 if Arsenal also win, would be somewhere around a 9 or
it
10-point lead.
will still be a that nine
But
point lead.
double digit, almost a double-digit lead over City is at in December is a big thing, I think. So if Liverpool can win the next game, I think for City it will be over. It's almost over for City, unless
Yeah,
Liverpool go into a slump.
and at this point, I think Arsenal is more of a threat to Liverpool than City by the way they're performing.
If you look at Game Week 12, yes, you would say that. You would definitely say that Arsenal look like they're back. City look like they're way off. And if let's move on to City then, when we've talked about City so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on to City because I think we've covered Southampton and Liverpool enough. But the main, the title of the pod and the main highlight of this week, I think, is this result: Man City versus Spurs at home. 4 goals to Spurs, who just lost to Ipswich at their home just last game week. And to go down like this in front of their own fans with Pep on the touchline and just didn't look and feel like a City team. Shurab, I'll take your thoughts on the game. How did you see this game and what did you make of it?
So before that, so Spurs kept a clean sheet at Etihad. You know which other team kept a clean sheet at Etihad last season?
I won't be able to probably say.
No, it was Arsenal, right? with that
Oh
with
yeah,
that back line.
that
Yeah.
that that 0-0 draw.
So so basically it's Spurs defense compared with Arsenal's defense. I mean that speaks a lot more to City's attack
Can
and
you
their
even
performance.
imagine Ben Davis and
Dragostea.
Radu Dragusin as William Saliba and Gabriel? I can't. My footballing brain cannot even comprehend that. But really, I
But
think the
it was
star of
nice.
the
I
show
mean,
was Vicario. If you're talking about the clean sheet, the star of the show was Vicario. Some
he
amazing saves there.
he has been pretty good for Spurs at times. I mean, I would say he's the Leno for that team because Leno had the season that Arsenal came eighth. I think it was only because of Leno, or else they would have dropped to like what 15th, 16th. So Vicario really is a great keeper, and he was playing with a broken toe,
Yeah,
broken ankle rather.
last half
uh,
an hour. Yeah,
Last
he's
half an
out
hour,
now.
yeah.
He's injured. He's out for the next game week. He's gone through surgery. Can you believe that?
Now coming to City's attack, right? So they keep on playing Gundo and Bernardo Silva was showing their age. They do not have pace in the midfield. I'm not sure what Lewis is doing there anywhere near the starting 11. He shouldn't. He shouldn't be in this anywhere near the top six teams at the moment. By the way,
D-
he's playing.
Doesn't Lewis look like that small cousin in our household whom you can just push away whenever you
Yeah,
want?
absolutely.
He just looks like that. Anybody can come and he has no physical presence. I don't know what he's bringing to that team. Why he's so highly rated in within the City fans is something I don't understand really.
It was more of Pep's system initially that he implemented with Lewis, that Lewis would go into the ball and his pace would kind of, let's say, outsmart defenders or the CDM. So he took advantage of that for the first 2 3 game weeks, and then I think once he started coming back, he showed his real weakness in his defensive abilities.
Can you identify his true position? I think I have not been able
Yeah.
to actually
He's
understand
not
what
a
his
fullback
true.
at all.
But what is his
But
position? I don't understand what his position is.
so from a in-game perspective, you could say that he's a right back, but
Come
I
on.
think play Pep plays him as an inverted right back who would sometimes bomb forward.
I can't see Rico Lewis as a forward. Anyways, let's enough of Rico Lewis. You make a good point about Gundogan as well. I think if we talk about the game in general, I think the game was won in midfield by Spurs, and really got it spot on with Bissouma and Pape Matar in at the
Sar,
heart, Sar at the heart of that midfield, and both of them dominated Lewis and Gundogan both in terms of their physical presence and the energy that they brought. And that what that allowed is Madison to run free from Gundogan and Lewis because they couldn't handle Sar and Bissouma. So, and that's the result of it. I mean, Madison's first two goals, you could see in the replays in the goal itself that either Rico Lewis or Gundogan loses track of that. I mean, they don't keep up running with Madison. They lose their runner, as we say. So, and that's how Madison gets his goals. I mean, if you give Madison so much time and space and in the box, Madison's a
yeah,
class player.
Madison and Son, you cannot afford to give them even a little chance to pick their head up.
Yeah,
That's I mean they can shoot from anywhere, and Son could have scored from that shot. It was a good save by
it
Edison.
was a fingertip save, and it was a great shot. If he would have scored that with an assist, I would delete my FPL team. But in general, we talk about Gundo and Lewis, but Walker against Son, I don't think that was he was any effect. Walker bought anything that would restrict Son. I think if Son had been, I think the only saving grace for Walker was that Son is also getting old. But if you
Yep.
look on the opposite wing, Guardiola had a nightmare against Kulusevski. I think
And
Kulusevski,
Kulu is not even that fast. I mean
yeah.
he's quite a, I won't say slow, but he's not extremely pacey as you expect wingers to be.
And you just look at the game state and the mentality of the players. When was the last time we saw a Spurs player pulling out tricks in front of the
Against
Man City defense at their home ground? I mean, did you see the highlights of
yeah,
that? I think that there's some.
I saw,
It's
yeah, I saw the. It was the first goal is Kulu's confidence. It's still 0-0. Anything can happen. It was Kulu's confidence that he knew he had the control the ball on the line, and then he didn't pass it back. He saw
yeah,
Madison running. Madison took a long run. I mean, it was what like a 15-yard dash that
yeah.
he took. Then
And that's how Rico Lewis and Gundogan lost the moment.
And
Really
Stones is a
poor.
horrible defender. I mean, I, we joked about it in one of our pods that Stones being there is worse, and now it he let Madison that space. I mean, he's a tall defender. He could have tracked back. But
Yeah, he was taken off at halftime as well. Pep said injury concerns, but I don't think so. I
yeah,
think really poor performance from City. I think so many things that they have to address with the loss of Rodri, not having the center backs, and now even that's the defensive part of it. But in attack, even Haaland has lost his ruthless finishing, I would say. He had three big chances in this game. He had a total of seven shots inside the box. And when was the last time you'd say those things and Haaland, not scoring at all? If you see the XG data that we have put here, and for all the guys on audio, City had an XG of 2.3, 2.3 XG, and they did not score a goal. When was the last time you would hear that for Man City when they have had Haaland in their team? So really, I think something is really amiss, and I can't put a finger on that. I'm no tactical expert, but this City team does not look like um, it has chemistry. Does not look like they have any confidence at all. Foden, I can't believe the player of Premier League player of this season in the same team just the following year is so anonymous, has absolutely zero impact in the game. I, I can't put a finger on it.
Yeah, and Haaland has turned into DCL. Yeah. Something. I mean that's the only thing, right? I mean both are as individual players, both are excellent. I mean they're playing as strikers in Premier League teams. You can't speak against their talent or anything, but the only difference between those two players are their finishing abilities. If Haaland is not finishing his chances, I don't think he's much better than Diesel at this point. And if you see, I mean, jokes apart, if you see just Haaland in the first shot that he took, it was uh, it was a grounded cross from the left wing. I'm sorry, was it Bernardo
Yeah,
or yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it was Bernardo. So he had time to position himself, take a shot. He could have either kept the shot high or kept the shot at the second bar. I mean, he it was kind of a straight shot at Vicario. He was he didn't have or he didn't think much of before taking that shot. So
He had another
that
similar opportunity where he blasted it over the bar
yeah,
from inside the box.
exactly.
So
There's
uncharacteristic.
another. So that speaks more towards how the players' body language, their mindset, their confidence. So
You as an Arsenal fan would be really happy. He asked
absolutely.
Arteta to stay
Absolutely.
humble.
I even retweeted that after saying after telling
Who,
Arteta to
who,
stay
who
humble,
tweeted? Who tweeted?
I it was from the XG philosophy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
From a 8.5 XG, Haaland has scored only 2 goals, and against teams like Southampton, Spurs, and yeah, it's been amazing.
City have been humbled since that game. So
Absolutely.
karma has come behind. I think we've covered a lot. We can keep talking about City not clicking, not doing, but this is what we have been talking about since last 4 or 5 games. The fifth
Huge.
loss on the trot, so I think it gets repetitive. Spurs, I think we can talk something good about them, and we have. Ange got his tactics right. I think he has been blamed enough for being very chaotic, not having good defensive tactics, or not having tactics at all. And the Spurs fan base wanted him out before this game. So I think this is a very, very good result for the team, for Ange, for the fans. This will bring some kind of calmness into the Spurs camp.
And now they have a good run of fixtures, so that's
Yes,
quite a positive start.
yes. The only thing is they need to get Solanke to get more involved in front of goal, maybe. But just the last point I would like to discuss with you, KDB. We thought he would be back this weekend. He wasn't. He came on for the last 10 minutes, but he did look lively. I think he had just like Odegaard, you would say. He's so confident on the ball, his crosses, his passes just look like a different class. He just came on for 10 minutes, created two good chances.
Hey, KDB, I mean, you can't doubt the talent of that player, but it's more like how would he directly impact the team, or is it more of a peripheral player that would keep on creating chances because of his own individual skill?
Yeah, and even he's getting old, so City have a lot to look forward to. I think it will be a very busy December transfer, uh, January transfer window for City.
Hmm.
Let's move ahead and let's talk about the new manager in town, Amorim, with Man United away to Ipswich. He had a dream start, didn't he?
Yeah,
80,
absolutely.
80 some seconds on the clock and that cross from Ahmad and Rashford goal, and hopes would have run, you know, hopes would have shot high for all United fans, for Amorim as well. Good
Yeah,
goal.
people were calling him Lisan Al Kaib. If he absolutely, people were chanting his name from the first minute, in fact. Yeah.
Yeah, but as the game went on from there, in fact, not the game went on. I think just after that first goal, after 83 seconds, I did not see much from United as much as we saw from Ipswich, rather. And even if you see the XG data that we have here, Ipswich had an XG of 1.59 compared to United 0.80. And this was the same problem we were witnessing under Ten Hag. They did not create much, and they did not probably involve Bruno as much on the ball. And I think in this game, we did not see Bruno on the ball nearly enough. I think the Man United fans were so frustrated that Bruno was not seeing much of the ball.
Yeah.
So maybe see we can't be much critical of Amorim at this point. He's just come in, and even after the game, he said, "I have talked to the media more than what I talked to media in sporting in 4 years."
Hmm.
So he's just settling in. You can't be critical. But let's talk about how this set up. Shurab, uh,
Yeah.
do you see Ahmad as a wing back? I was
No,
surprised with
I
that.
I, I think it was a makeshift. So Mazraoui on the right wing is a far more uh, defensive player than Ahmad, because he mentioned in one of his pressers and, or an interview that he would prefer his wing back to be wing backs rather than wingers, because he would need their defensive capabilities from them. He's That's why he always plays the three at the back formation. And I think since it was Licha wasn't there, and it was Delit, Evans, and
Delete
who else?
Evans and Mazroi were at the CBs.
Mazraoui, who were at the
Yeah.
back three. So
Dalot and Ahmad were the wingers. And I think Luke Shaw, when he came in, he was also the CB. He came in
he
for
was also there.
Evans. That
Exactly.
surprised me. Maybe it's fitness.
It's fitness. So I don't think Luke Shaw goes straight back into the left wing back role. He would start with the left center back, which is kind of good for Luke Shaw, because he sometimes gets forward. He can put in long balls, and he's a decent defender. So uh, that way the system would benefit from him. Now, Mazraoui playing on the right could change a lot of things, and I think another thing of note is so I had I was quite high on Rashford, only because I thought Rashford played the left winger role, and where Garnacho played. So if you see a couple of chances where Bruno laid off to Garnacho and he cut in and took horrible shots, I was more I think Amorim would rely more on Rashford to convert those chances. So he relies on the one on the right and the left to cut in. They would be more of inside strikers rather than wingers.
Yeah,
So it
they're
would
the
be a
two number
narrow three.
10s. They're the two
Correct. Yeah.
number 10s that Amorim plays. So Bruno and Garnacho were the number 10s, whereas Rashford was the number 9. But
And
interesting
Rashford is not
substitutions.
always effective as a number nine. I mean, we
Yeah,
saw it under Ten Hag.
yeah. But interesting substitutions. If you Xerxes came on, I think while Rashford was, I think Xerxes and Haaland both came on together,
Both came
and
on together.
Xerxes played as the number 10. So I think I kind of felt like not only were the players adapting and a little confused, and Amorim mentioned that in the post match presentation that the players looked a little afraid, a little
Yeah.
confused. And in the first few minutes, you could see everybody was pointing to each other to take their
Mm,
positions. But I think not only the players, I from the substitutions, maybe I'm wrong, but I felt from the substitutions that even Amorim is exploring, because Luke Shaw suddenly, Evans mid-game comes off. Luke Shaw comes to the center back. Bruno mid-game he changes Bruno from a 10 to a number 8.
yeah.
While
Also,
Garnacho is on the pitch, he brings in Zirkzee, he brings in Hoyland. So and Ahmad plays the entire game as the right wing back. So I think even he's exploring. which player is suiting which role the most. And I think it will be a little bit of more time before we can actually look at Man United assets, especially in terms of FPL, and say that we can probably pick somebody out of them all.
Yeah, their fixtures are turning as well, so it would be a tough test for Amorim. Now they play Everton, I think, which is
Yes.
a fairly easy game, but the next game after that is it's one of the most difficult they would face this season. So
Everton is also a very good defense now. Back-to-back clean sheets for them.
yeah, but I mean, playing at home, playing that team at home, they could easy. I mean, it would be a good game for them to build up their confidence and the chemistry.
Yes, yes. And we can't ignore Ipswich. I think they had a brilliant game. So attacking. They had less of the position. I think Man United had 60% position in this game. But if you see the chances created, Ipswich dominated them.
Yeah,
So many chances. Hutchinson with
Liam
an
Delap.
app. Delap missed two such easy chances. And even that substitute, I can't remember his name now, but he came on and in the end he could have won it for Ipswich as well. Credits to Onana. I think he's in top form. So many great saves from Liam Delap, point blank range. Two saves from Delap right
Uh,
in front of
that
goal.
that that was a that was a. I mean, no one would have. Even Amorim knew it was going in. I mean, Onana pulls out a hand and then
Yeah, that hand,
stops up. Yeah,
that right hand that he put
right
out
hand.
and saved it. Yeah, brilliant saves from Onana. He's in top form. You have to, we have trolled Onana last season and even
This
and
season, yeah, he's quite consistent. It's not
yes,
just one or two games.
just like Jackson, I think trolled last season, but this season both of them have really adapted and are performing for their team on a consistent basis. But Ipswich can take a lot of heart from this performance. They really played well. Should have probably, I don't know if this will be an overstatement to say they should have won it, but I
They should
felt,
have won the game.
yes,
Yeah,
I
they should have
felt
won the game.
they did better, a lot better than United. So,
They did. Even yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I
go on.
think it was purely because of Onana that the game was a draw. It
I
did.
agree
It
with you. I
it should
agree
have
with
been
you.
a 2-1 at least.
Definitely agree with you there. If Delap could have easily scored one out of so many chances that he got. But yeah, Man United fans, I don't think there is anything to be disheartened of. I think this is just the first week that Amorim has come in, and he'll take some time. And looks like confident manager. Looks like somebody who knows what he's doing. Looks like somebody who knows that he has to win at United, even when he's adapting. So exciting times. I think he'll probably bring the best out of this team. Let's wait and watch. I think we've covered most of the important matches, Shura, but let's run through some of the matches on the fringes, which are especially important in terms of FPL more than anything else. Fulham versus Wolves 1-4. If you see the XG numbers, it's just 1.03 for Fulham versus 1.32 for Wolves. Uh, but a 1-4 scoreline that really stands out. I
And
personally thought Fulham would be a difficult team at home home and especially for Wolves going away. I did not really expect them to win. I actually
yeah, it,
expected a very difficult game for Wolves, but turned out the other way.
yeah, it was a very unexpected result. And Wolves away isn't an amazing attack. So people, I mean, teams are quite flustered against Fulham at their home stadium. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yes,
it was
definitely.
mostly because of Cunha. He was absolutely electric this
No,
game.
but even if you see their performance, I think Fulham just they did not really turn up. I think Iwobi's goal outside the box, that curler, I think fantastic goal. Brilliant goal to watch. Great finish from him. But apart from that, ESR had no impact. Robinson had no impact in the game. Raul missed a chance from inside the 6 yard box. He blasted it over the bar.
Mm.
And all three of them were subbed off before 60 minutes, which again for FPL relevant managers and for anybody listening from an FPL lens, I think that's something concerning. But I think the performance levels were also not there, and hence the substitutions.
And
And
with Anderson missing, I think Fulham have a tough run of fixtures going forward.
Yeah, Anderson got injured after they made all the substitutions, so they went
Yeah.
down to 10 men, and that's when they conceded the last two goals. They did Fulham. So yeah, but Cunha, man, the as much as we talk about him, I think it's just less. I think he's the next big transfer waiting to happen. He's playing some absolutely amazing football. He's
Yeah.
taken up that number 10 kind of a role just behind Strand Larsen, and he's really flourishing in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
thought they would miss Wang or Sarabia, but yeah, Cunha is.
even Neto, they
Uh,
lost Neto to Chelsea this
they lost
season.
Neto.
Yeah, but Cunha has really stepped up. He's enjoying being the main man there. So yeah, we'll discuss more about Cunha, I think, in the preview part. Let's move on to Bournemouth Brighton, another game which I thought, even if you saw the game, if you look at the XG data, Bournemouth were really, really dominant in terms of the attack. So the XG numbers for Bournemouth were 1.63 versus Brighton 0.94. This is a little bit skewed because of the Baleba red card in the 59th minute.
Yeah.
So Brighton had to go defensive. That's a different story. But I think we
Brighton
were,
were really fluid at times.
yes,
So
yes. That was my next point. I think it you are enjoying. I think you would. I was thinking of you when I saw that game, and I was like, Shoro would be enjoying watching this. It was really fluid football, wasn't it?
yeah, absolutely. So the first goal, I didn't expect Welbeck. So you'd expect Rutter or Joao Pedro to make those maneuvers, but Welbeck with that maneuver and then laying it off to Rutter for that shot, it was
Yeah,
really fun to see.
yeah. And I think Rutter and João Pedro are two footballers who are very nice. I mean, rare breed of footballers who play that fluidic kind of football and have good movements, have smooth passes in them. Very nice to watch both of them play. So I've really taken a
Alongside,
like,
yeah,
I've really
alongside
taken,
Mitoma.
yeah, alongside Mitoma, correct. Mitoma, we shouldn't be forgetting Mitoma. Mitoma,
He's there. He's a beast waiting in the left wing.
yes, yes. I think just because he's not been in the goals and assists, he's been grandly ignored. But Mitoma has been so brilliant for this team as well. You're absolutely right. And I have taken a liking to Rutter as well. I have this is the first time I'll not lie. I did not see him play before this, before he came to Brighton. But since the time I've been watching him in Brighton, I have really taken a liking to Rutter as well. Excellent player, very smooth on the ball, good player. You'd like to have him on your team.
Yeah,
Bournemouth, I think were very attacking, very attacking. They had majority of the attacking threats and share of, but they could
they were
not
very
really,
wasteful.
very
Evan
wasteful.
Elson, Evan Elson was very wasteful. He had two good chances. He could have converted them. Yeah.
Yeah, and Semenyo hit the post at the end.
Semenyo, I felt like Semenyo, what we would expect from Semenyo, he wasn't much in the game. Yeah, the last shot hit the post, but it was more of a shot that was going out anyway. So, uh, and if you see the Brooks goal uh, at the 90 plus minute, it's the position where Semenyo mostly operates in, and he was just let's say laying back outside the penalty box or making short runs,
Yeah,
trotting here and there. So I didn't see Semenyo attacking quite a lot, and yeah, I think that's one of the reason, along with the suspension, uh, that I'm planning to move him on.
but Semenyo after his suspension has still has good fixtures. I think he has Ipswich coming up
Yeah, the,
as
the
well.
fixtures are good, but it's again the goals are always spread in this Bournemouth team.
Bournemouth
It's
team,
it's
yeah,
like it's like Fulham. So sometimes Iwobi would get a goal, sometimes CSR. You can't exactly point out which player would give you returns week in week out.
definitely. So that's that from Brighton and Bournemouth. Let's move on to, I think we just touched upon Newcastle and West Ham as we started this pod. So let's not get too much into it. But yeah, really disappointing from Newcastle's point of view. At home, losing to West Ham, uh, 0-2, not even scoring, giving them a clean sheet. Really not expected. Although if you see the XG data again, Newcastle had 1.64 compared to West Ham 0.81. But those, I think the one that 1.64 generated purely from two chances, one of which fell to Gordon and one of which fell to Isak. And
Yep.
both of them scuffed their chances. I think, who was it? Willock also had a very good shot,
Villa goes out a good shot.
but was wide of the target. But largely, if you see over the 90 minutes, they were not as threatening, especially after going behind to West Ham. You would expect them at home to, attack West Ham in waves. That did not
Yeah,
happen in this
it
game.
it was yeah. Their attack suddenly fell off. That's very weird to see from Newcastle. I think what we expect Newcastle is to always attack a lot. We don't trust their defense quite yet, but their attacking hasn't always been lacking. I mean, even against Arsenal, they were creating attack. Even against Chelsea, Isak was always up there creating chances for. I mean, either dribbling past or he didn't get quite a lot of chance.
Newcastle has been inconsistent. We've talked about this. Just as we thought they're coming back into their own, this they come up with this performance. But again, after the international break, you might take it with a pinch of salt. So let's see how Newcastle does in the coming upcoming fixtures. They still have a good fixture next week. I think it's against Crystal Palace, away to Crystal Palace, I think. But that's an away fixture, so yeah, something to keep an eye on. If you have Newcastle assets, a lot of people have Isak, you included, sure. So yeah, Guimaraes is injured. That will have an effect on them for sure, for sure.
Yeah. I think that affects them defensively more.
Yeah, yeah. But in general, the balance of the team as well. Players like Guimaraes, Rodri, Declan Rice. I think these are the engine of the teams.
Yep.
So it does affect them. Yeah. Villa Palace. I don't know how to read Villa this season. Uh, I don't know what's going on with them. They do play well. Sometimes they'll come up and they'll really play a good brand of football. But in I think the entire season their defense have been really really poor. What do you think?
They still play that high line that they have been playing when they lost to Newcastle last season, the first game.
Yeah.
So it's the exact same high line, and every team has been exploiting that. I think it's a very good sign for Chelsea, even if it's so it's an away game, right?
No, no. Aston Villa is
Which
at home to
it's
Chelsea.
at home. Then it's then it's even better. So I
Very
think
good
it's
game
a
for Jackson, I think, to make a run behind with a
for
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 Cole Palmer
anyone.
pass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for anyone in fact. Neto could benefit from it.
yeah, yeah,
Anyone in fact,
yeah, definitely.
except Madueke. So man, he would even miss an open goal at this point.
Yeah, so Watkins got a goal. Morgan Rogers, he's just he's probably a
Is
good player for his team, but FPL wise, I think he's just not there yet.
Yeah, he's quite important for his team. Yeah, but
Yeah,
that I think Bailey uh, is a better asset in terms of FPL because he tends to take a lot of
yeah.
shots. He's quite direct. So
But if you buy Bailey in your FPL team, please do buy an insurance for his hamstring as well, because
it
because
would
that
be just
will.
1 or 2 games. He's a kind of a Reece James in midfield.
Yeah, he doesn't stay fit, man. Bailey, he's such a good player, but
Absolutely.
just can't stay fit. Luka Dean benched. Sure, back with the troll.
No, I didn't expect. I expected. So he played a lot of international minutes. In fact, he played amazing for France. He had a goal and an assist. It was. So
Yeah,
yeah, so there would be rare benchings for Aston Villa, but I mean for Lucadinha, but the run that he's in now, I anyways won't be playing him quite a lot.
yeah,
I think
uh,
it was the only reason. Sorry, the only reason I brought him in because Trent was injured, and
yeah. Luka Dean was in your team anyways, no?
yeah, no,
You
he
you
wasn't there.
bought him in the playing 11, I think.
Playing 11, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, okay,
because
okay.
Trent was injured. Because I would have benched him in this game.
Understood, understood. Yeah. I think the only question mark now is who is Aston Villa's penalty taker, because Watkins is not taking it. Tillemans has missed it. I think,
It will still be Tillemans. He's the best. Either Tillemans or Megan. Megan is a very good penalty taker.
yeah, I think the next penalty is taken by Muggen. to be honest.
Yeah. And Megan
Okay,
takes good free kicks as well. I expect him to keep the penalty if he takes it.
both McGinn and Telemans are very good at set pieces. Telemans' deliveries from free kicks and corners are excellent.
Absolutely.
Crystal Palace, I don't think we have much to talk about, but a good goal from Sarr with a Mateta assist. He exploited that high line with his pace. But Crystal Palace, I don't think still. Their defense doesn't look assured. Their attack doesn't look to be clicking anyway. So not much to talk about Crystal Palace. They're in the bottom three, I think, this season, and it'll take some work from them to get out of there.
Yeah, there are no positive signs still yet.
True that. True. So I think we've covered most of the game. I think barring Everton and Brentford nil-nil game. As I said, Brentford, I think the only relevance is from Mbumo's point of view, who's playing really, really wide. And I was scouting this game as a because I thought he might be a potential captain for game week 13 in FPL because they play Leicester at home. But Brentford has been really poor. In fact, I was so surprised to read somewhere that this is their first point away from home. So in any
Yeah.
case, they have been poor away from home. But Leicester, they play at home where they have been amazing. All but looking at Mbumo's positioning, it just doesn't fill me with confidence. What do you think?
Yeah, Mbumo has been uh, quite wide. And we generally expect him to play the right wing in a, let's say, 4-3-3 system, but he's playing wider than that. I I think the only reason I've kept him is because of his um, capabilities in counter attack or his penalties. That's it.
Yeah,
I think at home that's the last game, or I'll give him a game or two, and then maybe he's a transfer out.
yeah. There's a congested fixture run. In this congested fixture run, I think he also provides you with that
90
insurance of
minutes.
a 90-minute man who will play every game. So that's a big thing during this period as well. Everton, I think you can target them in terms of FPL for a clean sheet because they just can't score. Uh, I don't
In
know
fact, they
when.
help the opponent keepers by giving them a lot of save points.
Yeah, I don't know which
Eh,
when they scored last. I forgot because DCL is not sco Was NDI's goal the last goal that they actually scored 6 game weeks ago or 5 game weeks ago?
No, there was I think there was another goal
Who's
scored.
scoring? Because DCL is not scoring, Beto is not scoring, NDI is not scoring, McNeil was injured. I don't know what's going on in that team. Who's scoring?
They're the only scorers there, and yeah, I think Beto's goal was the last one.
Ah, last goal, Beto's goal, yeah.
Beto,
Yeah, the Ashley Young assist. I remember, I
yes.
remember.
And then they didn't score against Southampton. I mean, they lost against Southampton. So yeah,
Yeah. So nothing much to talk about Everton from their attacking point of view, but defense maybe. But the fixtures turned so soon that Everton is a team to avoid in FPL as well. So I think we've covered everything and a great pod. Good to be back with the Premier League after 2 weeks of international break and the last one for this calendar year as well. So yeah, had a good pod, Shorab. Anything that you want to add to
no,
round up this pod?
no, it has been quite good now. Now will come the fixture congestion. So yeah, it's quite a decent break before the storm begins.
Yeah, so probably if you're listening to us, you'll listen to us more often, and we'll be also meeting more often to discuss these games. But exciting time as football fans. This is what we look forward to. So this is it from us in this pod. As usual, we'll do our shout outs. If you're watching this on YouTube, please follow us, subscribe to our channel, like and comment this video. If you're listening to us on the audio platforms, you can follow our podcast. You can also interact with us on X, Instagram, and Threads at Footy Fantasy. That's our socials. We're also on the Blue Sky app now. That we have not mentioned here on the video, but we are on Blue Sky at footyfantasy.bsky.official. So you can find us there and interact with us there as well. Uh, that is it from the review pod, and I think we'll see you very soon with the Game Week 13 preview pod by Thursday or Friday, early Friday. So we'll see you then. That's it from us. Thank you.
Thanks for joining.